Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.
Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council, Matthew Dickinson. How are you today?
I'm very good, thanks, Rod. How are you going?
Good. Is Dubbo becoming the sporting capital of Western New South Wales?
I think we do a pretty good job of making sure we've got facilities to handle not only our sport but bigger sporting events, and I don't think people realise how much money some of these other sporting events inject into our economy.
And you've had a few of them of late.
We had a few over the weekend and a few coming up as well. One of the things when we did build our international standard athletics track, and we opened it back in 2014, so it's been around there for a while now, longer than you realise actually, we did talk about the fact that it would be great for our local athletes to be able to compete on that sort of standard track that then allowed them to potentially go to higher honours, and we are seeing that already. Ella Penman, for example, won a gold medal at national championships recently, but we also have that ability to attract larger tournaments, and on the weekend we had over 700 competitors here at the New South Wales Country Championships, and these championships are held each year, and therefore everyone that's in a club that's 75 kilometres or more from Sydney CBD, so basically takes out those inner metro clubs and everyone else. So you had people from right across the entire state competing, a whole range of age groups, mainly children, maybe younger age groups obviously, but a whole range of age groups there, and it was fantastic. 3 days of competition there. We estimate that alone injected over $500,000 into our economy. And then you had the 2023 Swimming New South Wales Country Regional Meet. They have 3 of these meets throughout the year, and again this one, over 400 competitors here. They stayed for a minimum of 2 nights, almost $500,000 injected from that one as well. One of the other ones that we've done very well with recently over the last probably decade has been cricket. We've got a number of turf pitches, we've got a number of cricket fields that are close together. So Cricket New South Wales loves bringing tournaments out to where we are, and when we've spoken to them both this year and in past years, they often talk about the fact that the great thing about having any sort of cricket tournament here in Dubbo is that the fields are close together. Parents can go from field to field easily. Officials are all there together. They said if you had the same sort of event in Sydney, you'd be travelling between suburbs. The traffic's ridiculous. You might spend half an hour trying to get from suburb to suburb. Sometimes there are families that have got more than one child competing. How do you get from field to field? So it's all very complicated. Whereas here, they absolutely love it. So before Christmas, we had some junior boys cricket matches, cricket tournaments there. And then just in the last week, we had what's called the state challenge, the under-14 boys state challenge and the under-15 girls state challenge. In the boys, they have 8 teams from across the state, metro and regional teams competing against each other. That was a 4-day tournament. And then in the girls, the under-15 girls, they had 4 teams competing again, metro and regional. And so you've got the best, literally the best from across the state. And I went down to toss the coin on the first morning and I was watching some of the boys warm up there and start the match. And I went, wow, they're only under 14s, but I don't think I'd like to be facing up to some of those boys. They looked like they had a fair bit of pace and they looked like they were pretty strong and pretty good cricketers there. So very good tournaments there. We've had that particular tournament, that state challenge, for over 11 years in Dubbo now. And the under 13, 14 and 15 boys country youth championships we had before Christmas, I talked to the organisers of that and they can't remember, but they think at least a decade we've been getting that one for as well.
It's wonderful for your community to be able to host that, but also for folks to be able to go to Dubbo and take in the sights of the town.
And certainly talking to some of the parents and some of the officials there, they often talked about the fact that they came a day early or they're staying a day late, they're going to the zoo or they're going to the Royal Flying Doctor Service Visitor Experience Centre. So you're right, just getting them out here is one thing, getting them to experience what we've got here, but also they can take advantage of a whole range of other things that are here. We've got the touch footy championships, half the state. The junior touch footy championships will be here towards the end of February. That'll be over 10,000 people that'll be here. And one of the reasons we won that particular event again was because we had lots of motel beds and lots of other facilities that attract people to Dubbo and to the region while they're here.
It's a lot of people to be coming to Dubbo.
Yeah, that's right. And certainly just trying to accommodate those, we've got almost 5,000 beds, which is usually enough to accommodate most events that are on. But with something like that, there'll be a whole range of other accommodation facilities. It might be setting up areas for tents and caravans to set up, might be billeting people out into various homes. So there'll be different strategies, and certainly the spin-off for the region. Have people who will be staying at Narromine and Gilgandra and Wellington, and so you'll get a whole range of benefits for the entire region, not just for Dubbo.
Wonderful work. Well done. And what's happening at Barden Park?
Well, Barden Park, again, on the back of those New South Wales Country Championships, we need to make sure we maintain the standard of that track. That's 9 years old now. We got $5.7 million from a combination of state, federal and a bit of local government money as well to build that track back in 2014. But we did actually say at the time one of our challenges going forward is to maintain that, because we want to make sure we keep that track being certified. If someone breaks a record on that track, that's an internationally recognised track. It's certified to international standards, so that is a record that can stand internationally, which is fantastic, but you've got to maintain those facilities. So last week we managed to get $1.06 million from the state government to help us upgrade that track, and we'll do that probably towards the end of this year, early next year. We've got to get it in amongst the various athletics events that are held there to make sure we don't disrupt things too much. But again, once we do that resurfacing of that track, that'll be good for another 10 years going forward, and we'll be able to get certified to that international standard again.
And things are moving ahead to see a green energy hub in Dubbo?
Yeah, this will be really exciting. We've got this whole renewable energy zone in Dubbo. Some people get scared when they talk about closing down coal-fired power plants or reducing the amount of coal we dig up from the ground. But I actually get a bit excited about it because it means there are opportunities in other areas. And I often talk about this thing that's called the new economy, this new renewable energy economy. We've got that on our doorstep, but how do we take advantage of that? Well, we convinced the state government to give us $108,000 to put a business case together for a green energy hub around the Central West Orana Renewable Energy Zone. So we might see opportunities that relate to green hydrogen production or solar panel reuse or component manufacturing. I don't actually know the things that we might come up with because we've got this renewable energy zone here, hence the need for a business case. And once we've got that business case, you'll have various manufacturers, various companies who will be keen to see how they can take advantage of this whole renewable energy zone here as well. We've had some various inquiries already, but once we get a business case, we'll have a document to give to organisations and say, you want to know what you can do here? Here are some of the examples of what you can do. So I think Dubbo will be at the forefront of this whole new economy that we're building.
We're talking to the Mayor of Dubbo Regional Council, Matthew Dickerson, and you're backing some hospitality works as well?
Well, another business case here. We've got $20 million that just got given to the zoo for the Serengeti experience. The zoo themselves put in $10 million. So that's $30 million to build this whole new experience centre at the zoo. It'll be a conference centre. It'll be a Serengeti experience. It'll be fantastic. But one of the challenges for the zoo, and in fact many businesses around Dubbo, many businesses in regional Australia, is to have enough staff, and in particular for the zoo, enough hospitality staff. It'll be no good building these whole new wonderful experiences without having enough staff to man it. So essentially what we want to do here is build some sort of hospitality training area, hospitality centre of excellence, but we want to make sure it's going to work. So the state government's given council and the zoo as a joint project $490,000 to develop a whole business case around this hospitality training, hospitality centre of excellence, so that hopefully the numbers stack up, and then we can go forward and with the zoo build this whole facility and have this fantastic spot to train people up. And I can imagine if you're interested in going into hospitality, if you were a young person leaving school, if you had skills in that area, saying that you were trained up at the world famous Taronga Western Plains Zoo would be pretty handy to have on your resume. We hope some of those people stay at the zoo and some of those people stay in this area, but they could go anywhere in the world with the qualifications and the skills they'll gain from this. So let's get the business case done first to make sure it all stacks up, and then hopefully we can have some sort of hospitality training experience centre there, some sort of centre of excellence at the zoo.
And the development of a hospital for animals.
Yeah, this actually opened a little while ago, but I've only just had the chance to have a tour through this facility. The zoo has always had hospital facilities for their own animals, and people do bring in animals they find on the side of the road in various areas around the region. In fact, wires sometimes bring animals in, but that's always been tucked away. And this new whole hospital area that just opened about a month ago at the zoo is basically designed to bring that all to front of house. So you've now got this hospital with glass windows, with cameras over the operating areas, with microphones where the vets can actually talk to the people watching to actually watch some of these whole, the experience there, I suppose, of watching what's going on, the procedures that are happening, the various things, the treatments that are happening are all there on full display. So the hospital facilities are fantastic, and I had a tour through. Even out the back there, we've got some of the animals recovering. There were some wedge-tailed eagles. You know, these huge eagles that have got damaged wings, so they were being treated there and being kept there until they can get back out in the wild again. So it is an exceptional area there, and I'd recommend anyone that hasn't been through the zoo for a while to go and have a look at this. And if you're lucky enough, you might actually see some animal being worked on there while you're actually sitting there watching through these windows.
Sounds like a TV show in the future.
Indeed, it does.
All right, this Thursday, it's Australia Day. What's happening in the Dubbo Regional Council?
Well, that's an interesting one, Rod. You say this Thursday, but part of our events or part of our ceremony will happen on Wednesday night. In Wellington, we're doing a twilight event. We're doing a trial. So on Wednesday at 4 o'clock, there'll be some markets that will start down at Cameron Park. At 5:30, the official ceremonies will start, where you'll have the various Citizen of the Year and sports person, etc. We'll have our ambassador. Peter Herbert is the ambassador for Wellington this year. And then after the ceremony, we'll continue on and have the markets go until basically sunset. So that'll be something a bit different. We'll have an Aboriginal elder give an address, as well as the ambassador and the deputy mayor is giving the address down there in Wellington. In Dubbo, we'll have our barbecue and free breakfast starts at 8 a.m. The official ceremony starts at 8:30. We've got the various awards that we'll give out as well there. We've got almost 50 new citizens that will be conferred on the day. I can't remember having that many people being made new citizens on any day in Dubbo in the past, so that's pretty exciting. And David Hall will be our ambassador, so he'll give an address as well as, again, an Aboriginal elder. We're adding an Aboriginal elder address to both the Wellington and Dubbo ceremonies as well. So a few little subtle changes there, but it'll be interesting to see how the public reacts to that, and then we'll do some surveys afterwards to see how the public thought about that and how we go forward.
Right, and what else was it we're going to talk about today?
Oh, look, maybe one other thing that's worth mentioning is just some of the interest from international areas with the Toongai mine, the Australian Strategic Materials mine, which is a rare earth minerals, rare earth metals mine that's going ahead at some stage in the near future there. The amount of interest around the world is quite incredible, and I had some dinner with some South Korean representatives last week who, again, their focus is investing in that mine, and these people are talking about hundreds of millions of dollars they're investing in the mine. It'll take about $1 billion to get it off and running. Great for employment around the area, but also it's really fascinating to see these people that are coming through Dubbo looking at what the mine's got to offer and just looking at Dubbo in general. So it's good to see Dubbo on the international landscape for something that will be a very important part of the future. These rare earth metals are often used in things like electric vehicles, in a lot of electronics. So it really is, again, part of the whole new economy that I've mentioned.
And Dubbo is going to be part of it. I thank you for talking with us today.
And my pleasure, Rod. Always good to chat.
Mayoral Memo with Matthew Dickinson from Dubbo Regional Council.